Well, we've invested in it. I mean, the United States has put up a lot of money over the years, starting with land-grant universities. The belief that knowledge was an important part of the American founding and the American experiment has been with us from the very beginning. And we have cultivated it. We have generated about 3,000, 3,500 institutions of higher education, as we call them. And a lot of Americans believe that life is a race between education and catastrophe. And they think that getting that higher education, getting that degree, is crucial for understanding oneself, for getting a good job, and for being ready to take on whatever challenges you in the world. And I think there's some pretty good reason. There's a lot of historical reason to believe that there's something to that when we do it right. Well, the values that underpin American higher education are pretty similar to the American values overall. We believe in educating everyone. We truly believe in that. We believe in educating people to the limit of their abilities. And in some ways, not a distinctly American, but a very American thought is the notion of the individual, developing individual autonomy, the development of skills and talents and readiness to work that fits that individual person. We're a culture of individuals and individualism, and I think it shows in our institutions of higher education. You have an array of majors, of concentrations that students can select. We even have in many institutions of higher education the ability to design your own, which would be unheard of in some parts of the world, but this is part of the American salute to individuality and autonomy. Well, I think our universities, when they do their job, when they do what they're supposed to do, equip people to be citizens of the world, to be able to work anywhere in the world. And this is what I think people coming to universities ought to bring with them to the degree that they can. This is one of the reasons a program like RISE, I think, is so positive, so important, is it encourages just these values and virtues, the ability to think for oneself, the ability to work with others, partnership, collaboration, and at the same time a sense of individual autonomy. The world is, it's interesting, the world is a more complicated place in some ways than it was, but it's a simpler place too, and the kinds of skills that people need to survive in the world are pretty much the same, culture to culture. So I think in each culture we need to adjust a little bit for the fact that it's a global economy, that it's a global marketplace, and so we need to do different things in different places. But I think this is what is behind RISE, the idea that we will prepare and equip students so that if they come to the United States to a university, they will be in a position where they can succeed. Well, English language acquisition, I think, is crucial. As you go around the world, one need not be a chauvinist about the English language or about America or Western civilization, Western culture, to understand that English is this currency that is used and spoken around the world. But it's more than being able to speak English. It's about confidence, I think, in speaking English. And again, this is something that RISE does very well. It encourages people to be fluent in English and speak idiomatic English, to learn by learning all their subjects in English, rather than looking at English as some kind of foreign language, which one studies from a distance. One immerses oneself in the language. And that gives a kind of confidence, which I think will translate to self-confidence when a person comes to university in America.